everybody, I'm Katallina, and today we're here to talk about episode 8 of Oshi no Ko season 2. This was a really interesting episode that gave us some really fascinating insights to two major characters in the story. One, of course, being Kana, and the other being Aqua. And it was pretty much split down the middle, and it was interesting to see how he was able to help her, but that it was so much harder for people to find a way to help him, because they are basically polar opposites. Kana is somebody who has loved acting all her life, who got really into it, who is naturally talented at it, who can really kick it up a notch if she wants to, but who was often held down or held back by a bunch of social bullshit, or by the fact that she was a child actor, which means that she hadn't had full proper socialization, and that could make her a bit pretentious or insufferable, causing her to lose jobs and, given her family situation, to end up with other things that would actually potentially lead into even further misbehavior by her, because she was likely going through a lot of personal trauma. We find out that Kana wasn't actually initially the person who wanted to act. Kana wasn't like a Kane in that regard. Kana, rather, is the result of a stage mother who dreamed of being an actress or a performer or something of that nature herself, and who passed off those dreams onto Kana. Not necessarily to the extent that Kana hated acting, never wanted to do it, and was forced, but to the extent where this was like Mama Bear becoming a social celebrity by proxy. And her mood, and more importantly, her mood toward Kana, seems to have been influenced by how Kana was doing as far as her overall social status within the acting world, which for any child would be an absolute nightmare. I wasn't an actress, but I was a competitive singer. I did like karaoke competitions and stuff growing up. And my parents were incredibly supportive, but we never had anyone who was trying to ram anything down my throat or force me to do anything, or I never felt that people were going to love me less if I didn't win a contest or something. On the contrary, if I didn't win something, my family's immediate reaction was to think, okay, yeah, don't worry about it, it was rigged or something. And they would often get mad on my behalf. Not at people and embarrass me, but just like driving home in a car or something. My dad was actually my biggest supporter when I was competing, and he would often find new songs for me and we would work on them together and stuff, which was something I really loved before he had problems with his health and before I decided to stop performing because stuff happened to my throat. But like, my point is that like my situation was so warm and so loving and so positive and was such an important and integral part of my life that it absolutely breaks my heart to see the pain that it's so obvious that Kana has gone through here, because I've seen this happen to other people when I was young, and it's absolutely harrowing, and it's something I wouldn't wish on a worst enemy. I mean, it's hard enough finding the courage to go up onto a stage, recognizing that you cannot, no matter how hard you try, win all or any competition necessarily, and then have the people who should support you most be people who ultimately end up dragging you down. I've seen that in the real world, and it sucks. So I was so happy to see the amount of support and help that Aqua was actually able to give Kana, and how much of an impact it had on her, and to basically see her go through what I've been calling the like magical girl transformation was really awesome, because for her, I love how they used the gold and everything. It was like the sun was lighting up. It was like, here comes the sun, you know, the Beatles song. It was great. It was absolutely amazing seeing her get to have that moment and get to connect heart and soul with the aspects of acting and performing that she as a person had actually loved, and that she had been holding back from for so long because she didn't want to be forgotten, and more importantly, she probably didn't want to feel like she was losing her mother's love, and that is just such a sad and harrowing realization. On the other hand, and coming from a completely different angle, we have the situation with Aqua, which, as we all know, is connected to Ai's murder and everything that he has been going through. And something we have been discovering and exploring this season is the reality that Aqua is having a lot of trouble with actually acting emotionally, and that every time that he tries, he has these incredibly serious and incredibly damaging panic attacks. And I mean, it's bad enough that he has these and doesn't feel well and that it hurts him and everything else in and of itself, but they're not something where he has them in private necessarily. I mean, he could just as easily snap and have one of these happen to him on stage, and that would be a really bad situation just all around for everybody. I still think that his own health would be the top priority personally, but I mean, it would just not be a good time, and I could understand why he's been so reluctant to really tap into emotionality because of that. The conclusion that the director came to, the one that he's known since childhood, that for him to not trigger, he has to not enjoy acting because his subconscious views enjoying acting as a betrayal of I, was a really interesting thought, and it really makes sense for his character. And while it breaks my heart that he doesn't get to just have fun and enjoy it the way that other people do, the fact that he has somehow found a way to recognize that he isn't going to enjoy acting when he goes into that, and that he actually was able to take control of that on the stage, was incredible. And I think in a way what he's doing now, and what I hope he's doing based off of what I saw, is that he's actually utilizing those memories of I, at least in this particular performance, to be able to channel the rage that was needed for the scene. I still don't know whether he would be the kind of person who could like bounce around happily at a birthday party or something, but given the kind of scene they were giving him, fortunately, it worked within his natural state of being and like mental state, so it was able to come across really well. I thought that that performance overall was really stunning, and I thought it was really cool how he was able to use that and to take control of the stage, and I love how it became an actual authentic and empowering thing for him to an extent, because he's come to this realization that for him acting isn't about joy, but rather that acting is the means through which he will strive to go after the vengeance that he wants for his mother. And I mean, I'm certainly not somebody who is going to endorse or encourage revenge. I mean, this is not going to end well for him. Like, revenge never does, because once you go and get it, the jar is empty, and then all you've got left is the pain. But it's still interesting to see exactly what they're doing with his character and how it's going. And it's interesting to see people like the director or Kana supporting him in this situation, despite the fact that it's going to undoubtedly have absolutely nightmarish consequences. Whether we like the person who did this or not, and who is being like hunted by Aqua or not, it's still going to be something that is likely going to get him into a lot of trouble. We'll have to see about that, but that's my personal prediction just off of common sense. But overall, I thought the way this episode worked with the two different sectors and the deep dives into two of the major characters that we've been following throughout the 2 seasons of the show was really good. Those are my thoughts though. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking, so drop a comment below and let me know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. See you later. Bye!